I guess it's a bit of a statement to say it's a path, but there is a divergence. You can go up, you can go this way. This way is the less traveled way, so maybe this will make all the difference. Then again, maybe not. Hello. Let us go for a walk. Hi. Thanks for the share. I'm gonna go somewhere different today. Why? Because, well, we're feeling different. Audi, Bentley, and a Jeep. That's kind of a weird mix. Hey, thanks for your super hearts. Morning. So I decided to take a different walk this morning. Let's show you the view here. We'll make our way down towards the city. Don't know if we'll actually eat at McDonald's or we'll just walk. Hey, Spike. So we're gonna go for a little bit of a different high. My 360 battery died, so the camera battery was still going, but the iPhone battery was still going, but the 360 camera, poof. Today sucks. This weekend we have a tropical storm Mara, M-A-W-R-A. Mara is our new tropical storm, and it is coming in Sunday, hey Spike? It means that the weather today will be stagnant. It will not really change all day. I'm washing the cars. McDonald's actually has the same thing that you have in the US, but occasionally they have specialty meals like the Shogun burger, the Prosperity burger. I think the last special burger we had was the Minion burger. It's going to come to the east of us a bit, but I think we're still going to get wet. They're going to raise the typhoon signal 1 this afternoon. We may go to signal 3 tomorrow. Signal 8 will shut down the city, but that was going to require more of a direct hit, I think. Bonjour, bonsoir if you're in France. I'm in Hong Kong. I'm on, geez, I don't even know what road this is. Bowen Road, I think. B-O-W-E-N Road, Bowen Road. And we're making our way down into the city on a new path. It'll start in about 36 hours, this storm. I don't hike down here very often, so I thought I'd take you guys on a little bit new hike instead of walking the peak. The view from the peak today is somewhat obscured by this fog and whatnot, so I figured let's go this way. We do drive on the left, British style. The steering wheel is on the right. That's different than China, which drives on the right, American style. Makes it really fun when you drive across the border. Hey, thanks for the super heart. Welcome to Hong Kong. Hey, Corvo. You're in Hong Kong with me on Bowen Road. We're going to make our way down to Kennedy Road. And from Kennedy Road, we're going to go into Hong Kong Park. Then over to the waterfront. We'll walk along the waterfront a bit. No rain today. Rain starts tomorrow, we think. We have a typhoon, well, we have a tropical storm arriving tomorrow, this weekend. Bad form. Let them know. Lunch today, good question. See, we had noodles yesterday and fish and chips. Those are our two staple meals that we eat all the time. So today's going to have to be something different. There is a real chance it could be pizza. But maybe we'll do something else. Where does this path go? I don't think I've gone down this path in a long while. So should we go straight or should we go down the path? You be the judge. Straight or to the left? We'll go down by McDonald's. McDonald's has macaroni for breakfast. Macaroni. There's not a lot of very good Mexican today. Certainly not for breakfast. So we can go down the path or we can go down the road. Footpath. Road. Go down. Okay. I do like hotcakes. Hotcakes and sausage are yummy. I don't know if I'll get breakfast. I probably won't. How do you get cheap flights to Hong Kong? Go to google.com/flights. Google.com/flights. Put in a major airport near you to Hong Kong, and then look over the next month. You can view every fare over the next month to find the cheapest time. So try that. Google.com/flights. But don't pick like Poughkeepsie Regional Airport to Hong Kong. I mean, pick JFK or pick O'Hare or something like that. Yeah, google.com/flights, and then worry about getting to the major airport later or whatever. Springfield Elementary International Airport is not going to have the same price as Chicago. Cafe's okay. Singapore is supposed to be better. At least the flight attendants are supposed to be prettier on Singapore Air. I would prefer Expedia or Priceline because they don't have the best prices. Google.com sort of searches everything. Expedia and Priceline kind of try to push certain fares. I don't like Priceline. I do like Booking.com. Booking.com for hotels. That's Priceline, I think, owns Booking.com. It's a good day today. Yeah, I don't know if it's a beautiful day. Allow your dog fouling in public place will risk prosecution. Get the English a little better, guys. You're about to go to bed. What time is it? Jesus, 7 o'clock. I've been up since about, I got up about 4 today, I think. 4 or 5. No, 4:30, I think. A cheap hotel near me would be the Garden View Hotel. Garden View Hotel in the mid-levels here of Hong Kong. You know, I honestly think I have not gone down this path before, because I thought this path was going to take me somewhere, and it hasn't. It must be a different path I was thinking of, but we'll go find that one too. Decent hotel, Marriott, you know, that's where I would go. Marriott, Sheraton. Sheraton's not bad in TST. Conrad. Depends on your budget, man. I mean, we've got all the major chains here. There's a Hilton, Hyatt. They go up to the Mandarin Orientals and the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons. And it just depends how much you want to spend. Honestly, most people I recommend just get an Airbnb place. Just rent a whole apartment. Is Hong Kong humid? Yes. It is incredibly humid. We're in a tropical rainforest, basically. And as such, the humidity is pretty impressive. Okay, let's go down this one. McDonald's here in Hong Kong is actually, we have the McDonald's Gourmet here, which is the world's first gourmet McDonald's. It has waitresses. So our McDonald's has waitresses. And Edith's North Point. I don't know what happened to that, if that hotel is still around. There was a hotel in North Point that had like a fire, but I don't think it was the Ibis. I can't remember. Oh, this path is a boring path. Oh, but it'll take us into the park. Best place to visit. I'm from Hong Kong, which is in China. I live in America. Air quality is not bad in the summertime, but it's a little worse in the winter. What was that other question? Let me see here. What's the best place to visit for someone who's never been? All of Hong Kong. I haven't seen Ip Man in a while. You go up to, if you only have a few minutes in Hong Kong, I'd say take the Star Ferry across the harbor or go up to the peak and take in the entire view. If you got a few hours, I'd still say do that. Then visit maybe one of the street markets in like Wan Chai or something like that. But if you've got a couple days, and then you got to go to Mongkok and Shum Shai Po, and then you go out to Sheko, Stanley, and all sorts of other places. It was a British territory till 1997. So we speak English here. The street signs are in English. The fire truck 911 or 999 speaks English. Where should you fly into? Hong Kong International, the only airport you have. I mean, you can technically fly to Macau or Shenzhen, but that involves an extra border crossing. HKG is one of the best airports in the world. Hey, Des Moines, welcome to Hong Kong. where we're taking a bit of a city hike today. I decided not to hike the peak today, or at least this morning. Is life better under Chinese rule? I think most people would say no. Unless they're making money. The people who are making more money say yes. Just pick a Marriott. Yeah, there's a Marriott right over there, actually. A Marriott in Pacific Place. I accidentally waved my hand and that made the taxi come. I was pointing out the Marriott and I had accidentally hailed a taxi. Whoops. Conrad is 700 a night. It's 5-star. No, I'm not getting a taxi. I was actually just trying to point out the Marriott, which is over there. And my hand went up and the cab saw me and he pulled over. So this is an old British military base. One of several old British military installations here. McDonald's is actually quite nice here. I've never had soggy French fries at a Hong Kong McDonald's. Ever. That's because the turnover is so high and there's so many employees. They just churn. So they're always making fresh French fries. Never those wilted, sad excuses for French fries. So we're in a kids' playground. My kids used to come here when they were littler. They don't come here anymore. I miss my kids being kids. Oh, I like the golden crisp ones that are just still hot to the touch. They've got like a 30-foot mega slide over here somewhere. I wonder if it's still operational. They'd taken it out because it was too fast, and then kids complained, and I think they put it back in. Let's go find the mega slide. The Hong Kong dollar is a fixed, pegged exchange rate. So 7.75 Hong Kong dollars equals $1 US. Oh, they made it much slower. Look at that. That's the new mega slide. It's not as cool. It used to be longer. Maybe my kids were just smaller and I thought it was longer. It's a cool slide. Kind of similar. A little more. Stop. Hong Kong is probably a little more Western than Korea or Tokyo or any other Asian city. You won't feel as much it being foreign since everything here is in English and Chinese. People speak English and Chinese, and there's still some European customs around. I mean, living here is like living in Chinatown in New York City. It's not like living in China. Yeah, maybe they could retake Hong Kong. So let's walk down through the park today. So this is Hong Kong Park. This was a British military installation until the late 90s when they reverted back to China and they turned it into a park. Can you change US money to Hong Kong dollars? Yeah, you can do it anywhere. So most people, you just recommend that you use an ATM machine. Never use money exchangers unless you absolutely have to, because they give such horrible rates. ATM machines, provided you don't have, if you have like a no fee whatnot, you can get a really good rate from your ATM machine. That goes up around the aviary. That's where all the pterodactyls are kept. So they keep the pterodactyls behind those cages, and we all stay safe. The best time to come is coming up, actually. October's really good. The spring is really good. October, the temperatures have started to drop a little bit. Oh, cockatoos. But the pollution hasn't really kicked in. You can still also do November, but you run the risk of the pollution coming. October's kind of the end of the typhoon season, too. We've had 2 typhoons in the last 10 days, and we're going to get another one this weekend. So it's been quite wet. Do you need to update your passport? Your passport has to have 6 months validity. So if your passport expires in 5 months, you cannot enter Hong Kong. In fact, you cannot enter most Asian countries. You need to have 6 months of validity remaining on your passport to enter most Asian countries. Let's go up over here. What the? Oh, they're fixing the stairs today. Then we have to go up the ramp. That's where I live, mid-levels over there. Hi. Ooh, it's hot. That's our marriage registry. Another British military building converted to civilian use. So that's the Cotton Tree Drive marriage registry, where later today brides will be coming to get married. That round circular thing over here is called Olympic Square, because round circular things are generally called squares. Of course you have pets. Lots of dogs and cats here, and fish, and parakeets. Lots of birds. A lot of people like to have birds, especially old Chinese guys. Hello. Many Americans have cost of living packages, not most. In fact, the packages are a dying thing. More and more offers to come to Hong Kong do not include packages. What the hell is that? Oh, it's a turtle. Turtles! Now, some of them are just pretty well off. Where are they trying to go? Oh, they're trying to get out through this cage, but they can't get out. I like turtles. Oh, they're trying to come to me, I think. They think I'm going to give them food. I don't have any food. Oh, that's the fish. And then the turtles follow the fish. Singapore more rich than Hong Kong? No, I think Hong Kong is more rich than Singapore. I think Hong Kong is bigger than Singapore. This turtle is all by himself. Fred, the lonely turtle. All the other turtles won't let him play in the turtle games. Poor Fred. Waterfall's not on right now. Bummer. Depth 2 meters. I don't think it's 2 meters deep. Well, they don't all get along fine. I mean, there's plenty of arguments and fights on the bus and stuff like that, and subway battles. Here they come. Ooh, I'm not gonna feed you. Sorry, don't get in the water. I don't have anything. And that guy, he's like, I'm not jumping in there unless he's got some solid food going in. It's like, I don't see any food going in. Screw him. Yeah, crime. Whoop, he went in. Hey, I'm sorry, dude. I have nothing. They are following me. They're hungry. No feeding the fish or terrapins. Don't release fish or terrapins into the water. All you have is ducks. Bummer. They want to go with me. Free me before some old Chinese lady comes and makes a soup out of me, which has happened. I can walk. They're stuck in the pond. So this is a Thai-Japanese place. Not bad, actually. I'm going to cut through a shopping mall because it's air conditioned. This is a museum of crockery. A museum of teaware. Again, a British military base converted into civilian use because there was a need for a museum of teaware. Temperature today is about 27, 28. I can vote in Hong Kong elections because I'm a permanent resident now. Crime is lower here. That's not to say people are more chill. They just don't go to that next level. Yeah, let's cut through the mall because it's pretty hot. It's pretty humid right now. So I opted not to hike the peak today. But you know what, I'll probably end up there later. Yeah, lots of single women here. Oh, we're here by the bus. The school bus, actually. 300 pounds. God, it must have been a big tooth. No, we're not walking through the peak today. We're actually walking through central Hong Kong. This is Hong Kong Park, next to the British consulate, actually. The British government's liaison office here in Hong Kong. It's right over there. And there's a lot of work being done on a new subway tunnel, actually. They're not going to have a subway to this building. This is actually just sort of an overrun tunnel, so that they can bring trains in. They're going to actually basically building a siding. Sorry, there won't actually be service to this building. Here's the Shangri-La Hotel. Peak is beautiful, yeah. I should go back up. These are the free newspapers. It was a lease. In fact, most people would rather have the British back. It was actually a rejoin England movement. In fact, a lot of the locals will wave the British colonial flag instead of the Hong Kong flag, just to piss off Beijing. It works too. Beijing gets really upset. Basically their way of saying it was better under the British. I will scope the typhoon. I read a few things. Okay, so let's go through this mall because the air conditioning should be on. Oh, there it is. Air conditioning. Whew. This is Pacific Place Mall in Admiralty District of Hong Kong. And that's Bulgari, and that's Cartier, and this is Hermès. So we can go window shopping. What the hell is that? Oh, it's a tie. So we're window shopping in Hermès. Pacific Place is on the list, yeah? Watches. What else do we have up here? Claire. Yeah, there's a guy in, I think, New York invented air conditioning. There's a guy named Carrier, if I remember right. Louis Vuitton. I don't know why they go with the mean-looking women. So these are the new Louis Vuitton purses and shoes. Oh, Dior Blue. What's that? So Dior has a new thing. Basically, these are all the stores that are in Vogue magazine. The lights change color if you didn't notice. Gucci is over there. Celine. Chanel. Chanel has a huge store here, but this is not their flagship. Their flagship is in Central, about 5 blocks away. Fendi, Prada. Gucci, Bottega Veneta. They don't even have the escalators on yet. That's how early I am. Fendi. You can barely hear me. I haven't really said much. Prada. Prada's actually 2 floors. It goes down to this floor and to that floor. Well, I do it broad. I have my mic on. I have my headset on. Maybe you have your mute on. The club life is mental. This is like the party capital. There's Armani and Zara. This is like the clubbing capital of the world. Financial sector is the main thing. The business of Hong Kong is money. Good morning, Kevin. We're in Pacific Place today. Simply because I felt like walking in the air conditioning for a little bit. It's a nice mall, yep. This store up here is pretty freaky. Maison du Chocolat. Here we go, King and Country. Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. We shall never be slaves. Rule Britannia. So this is a little British soldier store. So if you like, oh, the Dunkirk collection. They don't seem to be running in panic. But this store sells little Nazi cars and tanks. This is a Panzer division. There we go. There's some British soldiers. There are still people. This little set here is $400 US. Hooters is usually busy. Oh, this is the British. This is the colonial police. The Hooters is usually hopping at nighttime. I usually go by there at lunchtime, and it is usually boring. Smithson. Oh, we're on this level. We can cut across here. Yeah, we'll cut through McDonald's and make our way over to the harbor. Why are the stores closed? It's 7:30 in the morning. 7:34 a.m. So we don't have a curfew law. Burberry. Shab Central. You know, I've seen about 10 seconds of Rick and Morty. I mean, it's not on here. I feel like. So I don't really know what it's about. What should we do? It's on Netflix. I'm a dad. I do dad stuff. I also have a startup tech company I'm working on. Finding work isn't as hard as affording the rent. Finding work that can let you live here in a lifestyle that you're accustomed to, it's not set out. I give the example, like, well, it doesn't make, I mean, it's a logical thing, but let's say you have curly hair, curly blonde hair. In America, you can go to any Walmart, any CVS, any Kmart, any grocery store, and buy curly blonde hair shampoo. Yeah? No big deal. But here, silky straight black hair. Yeah, you want curly blonde hair shampoo, you got to pay extra because the economy of scale is not there. So there, a little simple thing like that, instead of being $5 a month, becomes $12 a month or something like that. And let's say you like Cheerios, and who doesn't like Cheerios? Those are $10 a box. Yeah. So to live the exact same lifestyle that a curly blonde-haired, Cheerio-loving American would like is going to cost them considerably more to do here than it would in the United States. That's after considering the rent and all the other things. I love Cheerios. That's why I smuggle Cheerios in from the United States. I say smuggle, but reality, there's no customs duty or tariffs. So I just bring in boxes of Cheerios whenever I go to America. Doesn't the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the US dollar. It's a fixed exchange rate. So there's no differential. So when I said $10, I meant 10 US dollars. A box of Cheerios is 79 Hong Kong. 79 Hong Kong dollars, which is 10 US dollars. So this, guys, is the gourmet McDonald's. Now, your McDonald's, let me just put it this way, your McDonald's sucks. Why so expensive? Rent, so expensive. Everything has to be shipped in from afar. This is my McDonald's. So this is McDonald's in Hong Kong. You order on a computerized touchscreen over there, and then they make your burgers. Actually, they're serving breakfast now, so mall opens about 10 or 11, kind of fluctuates, 10 or 11. So this is McDonald's Hong Kong, yeah? Oh, it's not packed at all. This is pretty quiet. What do they got today? Scones, ham and cheese. My rent is about $8,200 US a month. But the average family in my son's international school spends $11,500 US a month. So let's cut through McDonald's. Not a lot of homeless. How do you think they afford that? You just do. A lot of us are given money by our employers to pay those costs. Or you just make the thing. I mean, 80,000, what's that, $90,000 a year? If 1/3 of your income, $90,000 a year, well, that's just what it is. $3,000 a month, not bad. 3,000 a month would not be bad. I pay $8,200 a month. I'd like to pay $3,000 a month. Heck, I don't think my mortgage in the U.S. is $3,000 a month. You got to make a lot unless you're on a package. If you want to live like upper middle class, oh, you like the 360. Do they pay you more? No. They pay you a package. They pay you the same salary as New York or London, and then you get a cost of living package to offset other stuff. Fire truck. So we're heading over to this building, government headquarters. $300 a month of Philippines. Yeah, that sounds about right. So this building here is the People's Liberation Army base. Package is considered income. We're heading to Tamar Park. Tamar Park is government headquarters. This is the headquarters of the Hong Kong government. And next to it is the People's Liberation Army. The tall one over there is the IFC building. And back behind us, the Lippo Center. Bank of China is hiding behind the Lippo Center. So let's make our way down to the waterfront. Go look at the harbor. They like anybody. It just depends if you're successful and wealthy and not too much of an obnoxious jerk. People will like you. Kind of defies your passport. Are they going to jump into bed with you because you have a U.S. passport? No. For that, you need to go to Thailand. Morning. So we're down in Admiralty district, which was Tada, the headquarters of the British Navy when the British ran here, and it was called Admiralty. Do I have non-expat friends? Few. I mean, there are local Hong Kongers who've been here, all their lives, but they still go to like international schools and hang out in the international community and such, so we do mingle with them. I mean, technically now that I have permanent residency, you could make the argument that I am no longer an expat, but I am an immigrant. When you've been here long enough. Expat implies that you will one day repatriate to your home country. You expatriated to another country and you repatriate when you're done. Immigrant implies that you've moved pretty much full time. Today I took the kids to the school bus, because usually the nanny does, but I got up at 4 this morning to watch Sky Sports out of England, because today was the closing of the transfer window, and I wanted to see the last minute deals. A little bit of insanity in England today, so we were watching that on Sky Sport. There are a lot of Americans here, however most of them are dual nationality Chinese Americans. So people who were born here but went to school in the United States, gathered U.S. citizenship, and then returned to Hong Kong for family or work reasons. So I think there are probably more Americans, passport holders, than almost all other passport holders. I don't have a cat or a dog, but we've considered getting a dog. It's just a little bit crazy, like kids. There are about 60 to 70,000 Caucasians in Hong Kong, making up about 0.7% of the populace. If you meet a Caucasian on the street, the majority of the Caucasians are Europeans or British or Australian, Canadian, and such like that. Americans make up probably about, 25, 30% of the Caucasians. But, it doesn't matter if you're an American, you still have to pay U.S. taxes. That never ends, unless you abandon citizenship. So I have to pay Hong Kong taxes and U.S. taxes. That was the McDonald's Gourmet, the McDonald's Next. You can Google that, McDonald's Next. Hurricane Irma. This is the calm before the storm, yeah. So that's our Ferris wheel that suddenly closed 2 days ago. We're not sure if it's ever going to open again. It's kind of a dumb idea to put a Ferris wheel here in the first place, to be honest. It's like, do I go visit my niece who works on the top floor of that building, or do I go there? How do healthcare cost? Healthcare is free, yeah. So healthcare is paid for by the government. So the healthcare costs are like, zero-ish. You still pay for some things, but by and large, healthcare is paid for by the government. We have a national health service like they have in England. There is a private health insurance. The costs are still, when the competitive price is free, the private sector healthcare costs are relatively cheap. I think a doctor consultation at a private doctor is about $200 US. The city is one of the safest cities in the world. We have an incredibly low crime rate. Hi, Paris, bonsoir, ça va? The band's playing his flute. This is Hong Kong. $1,200 a month for a $5,000 deductible. Wow, that sucks. You have some things we don't have in healthcare, and we have some things you don't, and we don't have to pay, of course. But if you had something that was hurting you over the long term, you'd have to wait in line to get surgery. It's playing their flute. People live in very small houses, very crowded conditions, and sometimes to practice their musical instruments, they just go out in public. There was a flute. She was playing the flute back there. She was practicing. Oh, you're in a ferry? No. The ferry pier is right over there. There's a ferry right there. I'm on the waterfront. There are about 1,000 homeless people, according to the government, and the private sector scoffs at that number and says, no, there's probably 2,000 homeless people sleeping rough. It's in a city of 7.3 million. Now, that said, there are tens of thousands of people living in substandard housing. They technically have a roof over their head, but it's not ideal or even sanitary in some places. So here, if you've got like a condition, like, my leg hurts, I can't really walk that well on this leg, you got to kind of like, well, can you still walk? Well, yeah, I can still walk, but it's slower and it's painful. They're like, well, wait in line until we can get you in to treat this. So they can wait in line for quite a while. Now, if you get hit by a car, or it's like you have cancer, wham bam, right to the OR and everything like that. Yeah, cage dwellings is a big issue. What are these big buildings? Predominantly, all the big buildings you see in front of you now are offices, mostly banks, except this one with the red star. That is the People's Liberation Army. That is the Chinese Communist Army. And this is the government headquarters. But that behind it, that's Bank of America in white. That's Bank of China. Bloomberg's in that building, the square one. That's AIA, the insurance company. China Central Bank, Standard Chartered. HSBC's around the corner. This is the International Finance Center. This has a lot of bankers inside there. This over here is the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. On top of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is the American Club, which is a private club for Americans. How far is Shenzhen? Shenzhen is about a half hour, 45 minutes that way. Basically, I book about an hour to get to Shenzhen, counting all the immigration checkpoints and whatnot. Is it hard to live here if you don't speak the language? Well, the languages of Hong Kong are English and Chinese. English or Chinese. If you can speak either one of those, you're pretty much set. Bank of America, well, there's a lot of American money going into China. And this is their branch here in Hong Kong, Bank of America, JP Morgan. Citibank is right back there too. That's Citibank. This is one of the financial capitals of the world. New York, London, Hong Kong, Singapore. This is where money talks. There's JP Morgan over there. The drone scope was pretty fun. Which type of Chinese most common? Cantonese is spoken here. How did you decide to live here? I fell in love, met the right girl. I can take a ferry to the Shenzhen airport, but by and large it's faster to take the subway to Shenzhen or a bus, and cheaper too. Do you already have 5G? No, we're going to be about 6 months behind, I think, on 5G adaptation. We have to clear some TV frequency bands. This was the water in as late as 2005, 2006. You see that white building over there? That's the post office. That used to be the waterfront. So everything I'm walking on right now is dredged up in the last 10 years. In fact, when Apple first reduced Apple Maps, they still showed this as water. 5G bands for 5G will be about 2020. Do you know where they have the Hong Kong Jewelry Show? Yes, it's at the convention center, and I'll show that to you in about 15 seconds when I get around this corner here. Oh, I can show you now. There it is. So that giant building over there is the convention center. Telecommuting jobs in Hong Kong from the USA. I don't understand. Where do you want to be? You want to be in the USA and work in Hong Kong, or vice versa? That's Kowloon over there. Kowloon Peninsula. What do you have to do to be able to live here? You need to get a visa to live here. You need to get a working visa or a dependent visa. You need to have a job that will sponsor you. Now, it's not that hard to find a professional job, but why is there nobody around? It's 7:30 in the morning, all right? It's like 7:51, yeah? 7:51 in the morning. Yeah, we're in Victoria's Harbor right now. There's some Star Ferries making their way across the harbor right now. Hang on a second. There's the Star Ferry. Why is that section of the pavement fenced in? Oh boy. That section of the pavement is reserved by the Chinese Navy in case they need to land their warships in central Hong Kong to protect Hong Kong from foreign invasion. Seriously. The People's Liberation Army garrison has reserved that land as their own for military use. So, anyway, the people of Hong Kong regard that as a crock of crap. They actually built this beautiful walkway. Everything was designed, and then at the last minute, the PLA came in and says, no, we need to dock warships here. Never know. Bad guys come. It's like, what the fuck? Sorry, I guess I swore there. What are you going to work for? I said, well, you got to have a good job. I mean, my wife is a banker, so she got a visa for being a banker, not a lawyer. Can you fly the Mavic in the area? Not supposed to. Mainland China is just over those mountains there, about 20, 30 miles from here. It's not very far. It's about a half hour, 45 minutes. We're not supposed to fly. I do like teriyaki chicken and rice, but I like teriyaki chicken on a bao, B-A-O. You guys know what a bao is? It's like a hamburger bun, but it's a very soft, steamed hamburger bun. Guys, if you can find a recipe for Chinese bao, B-A-O, and then make your hamburger in a Chinese bao, ooh, talk about delicious. Talk about delicious. I do like the Star Ferry. Shenzhen is part of mainland China. It's got about 12.5 to 15 million people. Nobody's really sure. Honestly, it's where your iPhone was made, probably. Your iPhones are made in Shenzhen, your Androids, everything. It's the gadget capital of the world. You know, there are a few things you can't get here, only a few. Popcorn salt, decent barbecue, decent Mexican, and Chipotle, and Wendy's and Arby's. But by and large, you can get all sorts of American food here. Is there a cross on the top of the bao? I didn't have that kind of bao. I had the one that was like a soft bao that you sort of fold over and use as a bun. Oh, it was so good. There are a lot of Americans here, but most are Chinese American. If you guys go to my Instagram, Penguin6, you can see a picture of the chicken teriyaki bao that I had the other night. It was really good. It was really freaking good. Yes, that is Kowloon. That is part of Hong Kong. This is Hong Kong Island. That is Kowloon. Then beyond that is what's known as the New Territories. And there's also another area called the Outer Islands. What job do you need to be a travel? Well, you should, anything. I mean, finance will take you anywhere. The road tech will. The issue isn't so much the job, it's just sort of your willingness to travel. The kids are in school. I mean, if you watch Steve and Pauline, which have a regular Periscope called Travel the World, they travel the world on minimum wage jobs. Yeah. I took the ferry just about, in the last couple of weeks. It was just like last week, I think I took the ferry. The kids start school normal time. Do they discriminate because you're not from here? No, not really. There are some things that are not available to me because I don't speak Cantonese. A lot of customer-facing jobs, like if I wanted to work in retail, they'd really want me to speak Cantonese. Or in some public relations, talking to the press, again, Cantonese. But not really discrimination. I'm more than capable of learning it. I'm just too lazy. Oh, the kids start school after summer break. My kids go to an American-style international school. It's an American curriculum, and they start school pretty much the same. I think it was August 15th or 16th this year, and they get out about June 15th. What was the name of the minimum wage? Oh, the guys were called Travel the World. It's a Periscoper called Travel the World, Steve and Pauline, and they do a couple shows a day, and they frequently give advice on how he just up and quit his job and decided to travel the world a couple years ago. And he works when he needs to, and he travels when he doesn't. I've lived here 7 years. So, for example, he would go into Australia, where the minimum wage is about $15 an hour, and he'd work for 6 or 8 weeks at some minimum wage job, collect a bunch of cash, and then go blow it in Thailand for 2 months or 3 months, where, a couple $100 bucks can go a long way. There are a lot of guys doing that. They live in the Philippines in a little house that's not too much, and they just have a kind of easy life. We don't have Chick-fil-A. I used to be a political hack. I used to work on Capitol Hill, but my political days have gone. I still have a passing interest in it, but regular schools start pretty much in September. Do we have an America town? Not necessarily, but there are neighborhoods that are predominantly foreigners. For example, the Red Hill neighborhood next to the American school my kids go to, many, many Americans live there. So many that we actually do Halloween there. We do trick-or-treating in Red Hill. And everybody will just go down there and knock on doors and trick-or-treat. There are expat areas. So I usually do periscopes from Red Hill during Halloween. How's the government different from here? The government here is basically appointed by Beijing. I'll give you a nice shot of the ferry. Saw me trick-or-treating. Hey, Kanji Kaizo's here. So I'm just watching. I call that the psychedelic ferry. Hey, how's it going, man? And there it goes. Well, I like the Star Ferry, I like the trams, I like the old bits of Hong Kong. New bits are cool too. We do have a very small zoo that has a few monkeys and birds and an orangutan. Like a lazy orangutan, like an unemployed beach whale of an orangutan. It's just like, doesn't do squat. What's the count of billionaires? I don't know how many that disappeared. One or two. I don't eat 1,000-year-old eggs. I don't like those kind of eggs. My kids eat them. Tea eggs. My wife likes them, but I think they're kind of gross. So here comes this one. Is in the docking. Which one's that? The Morning Star. Here comes Stickman. Stickman, get his stick out. Oh, we caught it. Hong Kong University is not that expensive. Are there trillionaire businessmen there? No, there's no trillionaire, individual trillionaires. But there are corporate entities that control $1 trillion. There are funds that manage as much as $1 trillion. I have heard of those. I'm trying to watch Periscope from the laptop. It can be done. We're in the shadow of this building. Where should we go next? Should we stay on the waterfront, or should we go into the city? Or should we just do both? Go on the waterfront and then come back through the city. Okay. Let's see how we're doing here. So we've done 6,000 steps. All right, we'll go down on the waterfront a bit, and then we'll cut back to the city. We have to do about 10,000 steps to make up for our lack of walking on the peak today. Is there a downtown Hong Kong? Well, it's kind of all Hong Kong. Yeah, I used to be on the Periscope at this time every day. I'd take the kids to the school bus, then get on the Periscope. Then I got busy doing other stuff. So the last time you ventured into the Shenzhen tech markets, about 2 weeks ago. I took the kids through the tech market on the way up to the toy street. In fact, you can see that on my YouTube channel, Penguin 6. We went to the toy markets. I have a video blog on my YouTube channel, and I think there was one a few days ago. I got to cut a video blog today. I've got a couple of them. My kids are 8 and 11. My 11-year-old is in grade 6. And I had the back to school market. The fish markets are kind of all over the place. Not really a king. A king would have a crown full of gold. I don't have that. Having for lunch today, I don't really have a selection yet. I'm kind of thinking pizza again, but I had pizza the other day. I was thinking this other pizza place. If I don't do that, then I'm thinking also Korean bulgogi beef, which is the shredded Korean beef served in a lettuce cup. So these little lettuce wrapped Korean beef is very possible. Kind of depends if I feel the need for breakfast. If I eat a breakfast when I get home, then I'll probably have a lighter lunch. If I don't eat a breakfast, then I could eat a whole pizza. I do like Korean barbecue. I haven't had it in a while. I don't really feel like sushi today. Sushi is a Sunday. We usually have sushi every Sunday with the kids. My son has his first soccer game this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Life can be good. But they will always be better. How old am I? My half plus 7 rule is 32 and a half, which means I can only date women who are 32 years or older. Anything younger than that, and it's a little bit too socially creepy. So Scarlett Johansson, you will be mine. But some of those other girls who are a little younger have fun babysitting for my kids. They're fish in this water. Yeah, there's guys fishing here. So yes, there are fish in this water. In fact, they found a whale here. Hey, how's it going, Sweden? There was a whale here last year that came floating through the harbor. Oh, there goes the ferry to Discovery Bay. I've never taken you guys to Discovery Bay. Maybe I should do that one day. Go have lunch in Discovery Bay, which is a planned community with no cars, only golf carts, out on the western, out over by Atlanta. How much is a can of Coke? About $1 US. Yeah, if I dated a 32-year-old, it would be a crib snatcher. But 32 and a half, that passes the half plus 7 rule. I've noticed the half plus 7 rule doesn't apply in Hollywood. The Hollywood rule is basically old enough to breathe. So if you don't know the half plus 7 rule, the half plus 7 rule says that you can date someone who is half your age plus 7. So if you're 30 years old, divide by 2, 15, add 7, that's 22. So a 30-year-old could go out with a 22-year-old, and that's right on the cusp of socially acceptable. A 40-year-old, divide by 2 is 20, add 7, 27. A 40-year-old could go out with a 27-year-old. So that's right on the edge of socially acceptable. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I think it's actually a pretty good guide. I think if you judged your own gap kind of questions, you would probably say, yeah, maybe. Bologna sandwich. Was that a beggar? No, that was some guy smoking a cigarette. Because they play English movies. Yeah, the movies are in English. The kids' movies, though, the cartoons are often dubbed into Cantonese or even Mandarin. So you have to, for like children's movies, you have to make sure there's an English one. But all movies are shown with Chinese subtitles, and the Chinese movies are shown with English subtitles. So everybody can go see everybody's movie. In fact, I go see a lot of Hong Kong movies. They have English subtitles. Reminds me, I think I should see a movie with the wife tonight. Maybe I'll make a date with my wife. So we're heading to the Macau Ferry Terminal now, which is where you catch the ferries to Macau, the gambling den of iniquity. We're going to go by the Hong Kong Fireboat headquarters. Lunchtime, I have lunch about 11, because most people in Hong Kong have lunch between 12 and 2. And I find if I don't get in the restaurant by 11, certainly Asian restaurants, if I'm not in my seat by 11:30, I'm not going to get a seat. There's going to be a line. So I generally try to eat between 11 and 12. If I'm eating a Western restaurant, then I eat whenever I feel like it. Like my fish and chip shop doesn't open till 12. So this is the government pier. This is where the fire and police boats come. There are multiple government piers. There's about, 12 or 13 fireboats. There's probably over 120 police boats. There's also customs service and immigration service boats. They have basically a huge navy, the government here. And not a lot of food trucks. They have a food truck program, but it's poorly implemented and it's not doing well. That's their flagship fireboat. We're going to see that in a bit. That's called the Elite. Actually, one of their fireboats, Fireboat 5, ran aground the other day responding to a plane crash. any military academies? No. In fact, I think it's just become the case that Hong Kong citizens can serve in the Chinese military. There is a British-style cadet corps, which is sort of run like the British cadet system that's run in the high schools in England, sort of like a junior ROTC system. And they've talked about opening a Chinese version of that. But most parents who want military discipline go for the British-style system. They march around occasionally. They come out to Remembrance Day. We still have a British Remembrance Day ceremony every year to remember those who fought for Hong Kong against the Japanese invasion. They have nice prisons. I don't think they are that nice. I'm not really sure. I know there was a court case, though, recently that Westerners were allowed to get Western food in prison and Chinese got Chinese food. And some of the Chinese prisoners were like, we would like hamburgers too. So they were having this big court decision whether it was discriminatory to give Chinese people Chinese food and not hamburgers. The world is a strange place. Free transport. No, they do use TripAdvisor, but we also have a system called Open Rice. Open Rice is kind of like our Yelp. Is there torture? There are always a few instances of bad cops or bad prisoners and stuff. But I don't think it's not systematically practiced. We follow a British legal system, a British common law legal system. In fact, some of our judges are actually from England or Australia or Canada. There's a lot of kayaking. I wouldn't kayak here because of the shape of the harbor. It actually gets kind of polluted. But there are plenty of outer islands and beaches and coves that are just absolutely stunning places. I don't know if it was hamburgers, but it was, quote, Western food. Western food was being served in the Hong Kong prisons to Western inmates, whereas Asian food was being served to the Asian prisoners. And they were regarding that as racially discriminatory. I think they were just trying to muck with the jars. I read about it when we were reading about Rurik Jutting. Rurik Jutting was the psycho banker who murdered 2 prostitutes here in Hong Kong in an orgy of drugs and alcohol and film. We don't have ESP. No. We have Fox Sports Asia from Fox Sports Australia. We have local sports. We have the ASN network, which is basically American Sports Network. So we get basketball and hockey, baseball occasionally, NFL, some F1. There is a lot of litter here today, actually, because of the typhoon and the water. On the roads, not so much. Whew. So there's the fireboat I mentioned. NBC News, no, we don't have it, not over the air. We can get NBC, CBS, and ABC on podcast. In fact, a lot of Americans watch. Because of the time difference, a lot of us watch our news on podcast format anyway. So there is the Fireboat Elite. That's the flagship of the Hong Kong Fire Service. There's actually 2 flagships. That one's here. There's one in Kowloon. These are ferries to Macau. These are high-speed trimarans, catamaran-type ferries that go to Macau in about 40 minutes. They do about 45 knots. It's about 50-some miles an hour as they glide over to Macau. This one's actually gearing up to go out, I think. Fireboat, what's the purpose? Fighting fires on the water? Hong Kong's a major shipping center. We have major shipborne fires all the time, plus rescues and stuff like that. In fact, the helicopter from this place to Macau once crashed. I don't know, I say hambabao is hamburger. You can hear the engines kicking on. Sounds like a jet starting up. They're turning the turbines on. Yeah, we all have unblocked boxes. Very common here in Hong Kong. I have like 3,000 channels. I mean, I have every channel in the world, basically, on my TV, using an unblocked box. I think he's about to head out. What time is it? Is that illegal? As you ask. Actually, he's not heading out. So that's one of the multiple ferries. Oh, the IPT, mine's called an unblocked box, but there are many other boxes. Unblocked box is a pretty common one. Subscribe to? We don't subscribe. They're pirate TV boxes. You don't subscribe. You buy them and go, you know. They run like Modbro, the app Modbro. Ooh. Macau is to China as Hong Kong is to China. It is a special administrative region. It has its own form of government. Now, the Macau government is much tighter with mainland China than Hong Kong. It's a little bit more repressive over there. No, I just buy the box, and that's it. I never pay a monthly fee. And I run various apps like Showbox and Modro and all that, and then just watch everything for free, basically. So we're in the Macau Ferry Pier right now. Just bypassing all that, not illegal. Not illegal would mean it's legal. No. It's a complicated thing. Downloading programs can be illegal in some jurisdictions. Watching an illegal stream, at this point, streaming it, this is a little bit gray area. You want an unblocked box? Yeah, they're everywhere. We pay about, I think they're about 80 bucks here in the US, but you probably pay about 100 on eBay or Amazon. Unblocked box. Just Google it, unblocked box. So what do we got here? So this is where we buy tickets to go to Macau, yeah? This is the Ferry Pier entrance. So I can't go over there because that's an immigration checkpoint. I need to show my passport if I want to go over there. You're planning to go to Hong Kong? Great, you should come. It's a fun place to visit. So should we go check out the services available in Macau? Unblocked box, yeah, that's it. So this is a travel company that can arrange all type of services. Immigration, I mean, show a passport, get a visa stamp, ka-chunk, technically, just like the airport. So yeah, this place arranges stuff for you when you get to Macau. So you don't have to arrive in Macau all by yourself. The bridge is going to open soon. So yeah, that's the decadence of Macau on offer right there. Yeah, I don't even know if they call it a date. But all these little travel agencies will have different advertisements. Macau tourism. Yep, basically. This is the MGM. Macau is pretty insane for that. Yeah, it's more repressive but decadent. They also have lots of money laundering. Oh my God, it's a tour group of mainland Chinese. Gotta get out of the way. Ah, it's like an invasion. See, they all have these wheelie suitcases. Those little suitcases with wheels are the most hated thing in Hong Kong. Well, it's sort of an outlet, you know? To keep the people repressed in mainland China, let them go to Macau and ease off a little bit so they don't get upset when they're in mainland China. So it's kind of a pressure release, yeah? Another typhoon this Sunday. Actually, it's going to be a tropical storm, not technically a typhoon, but it's going to be wet, that's for sure. So we're going to go out the other side and keep walking. Is gambling rehab a growth industry? No, they don't go to rehab, they just go bankrupt. Low-lying areas in Hong Kong will flood a bit, but most of Hong Kong will not. It would take a tremendous surge to flood this area. We have like flash floods when there's just too much rain. Swimming beaches are generally on the south side. This is the harbor. The harbor is just a little bit too intense. Oh, we've got a ferry about to go out. We'll get downwind of the jet wash here. So they actually parallel park these ferries. What time is it? It's 8:18. I have a dry sense of humor. I try to be. Alright, let's go. There are occasionally lands like it is a fancy ass looking ferry, isn't it? It's pretty badass looking. I want to see it move though. I don't want to just see it sitting here churning water. Do something. Do something. How much? It's about 30 or 40 bucks US round trip to Macau on the ferry. If you go first class, it's a bit more. First class means they give you a little hand towel and a Coke. He's pulling the ropes up. You can see the dude pulling the ropes on the back there. How long does it take? It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get to Macau, depending on traffic. Yeah, believe it or not, there is traffic jam. There are traffic jams on the ferry. Okay, I think he's going now. You can see the water started shifting one direction. Here we go. So he's got his flaps on so he can turn. It's going to come out. It's actually jet fuel. It smells like an airport right here. In fact, the other ferries actually have Boeing jet engines in them. They were built by Boeing. It does about 45, 50 knots. It's about 50 to 60 miles an hour. Yeah, these are jet turbine engines. Occasionally when I'm in China, in Shenzhen, I can scope. I think it gets blocked occasionally too. The spinny thing is his radar. There's so much traffic in the harbor, they need radar. Okay, he's turned off his left engines, now he's going forward. All ahead full, Mr. Scott. All ahead full, Captain. Thank you for the super hearts. There goes the ferry. Off to Macau with people who think they're going to get lucky. Now, if they do get lucky, they come back on the helicopter. If they don't get lucky, they come back on the ferry. But you can see now it is a catamaran. Yeah, you can see the hull. Get a really good view of the hull now. Actually, a third little mini hull in the front. Mainland visits, well, you can stay up to 30 days. What do you mean by get lucky? Macau is the gambling capital of the world. So everybody on that ferry is going gambling, going to play blackjack and mahjong and baccarat and all that. Yes, there's a heliport on top. That's a heliport. The Macau helicopter flies about every 20 or 30 minutes. So the winners come back on helicopter, which is about 200 bucks US. The losers come back on the return ticket ferry. Macau generates five or six times the revenue of Las Vegas, and it has 1/4 the number of casinos. Not even that, 1/5 the number of casinos. Most casino companies regard themselves as Macau companies with Las Vegas operations. There was a ferry that sank. It was a more traditional ferry, kind of like that one, that ran into two ferries collided. And one of them sank. was a disaster. Need a better life? Well, let's start living it. So that's the Discovery Bay ferry over there. That comes from the area called Discovery Bay, which is sort of a expat, no car allowed, everybody drives golf carts kind of area. Has Hong Kong had a tsunami? Yeah, they've had some, but they haven't been big, like a few inches. Oh, so that's a hydrofoil ferry in dock right now. They fly over to Macau on hydrofoils. There goes that one. We might be able to catch him at the edge. Oh wow, the fleet is in today. Look at that. So, we have a typhoon coming in, and a lot of the vessels have come in to Hong Kong Harbor, which is sort of a safe dock. I've lived here 7 years. Hong Kong Harbor is shielded against typhoons, natural shielding. So a lot of boats are coming in here saying, you know what, let's not stick out in the ocean this weekend. Let's come into port. Typhoon shelter is over there, actually. Here comes that ferry we were just watching. He's actually faster than I am. Hey, I know what we can do. Let's go find some dancing grandmas. The dancing aunties will be down here, I bet. These are older women who do like these community dance programs to stay in shape. There's that guy working out. The other guy's doing Tai Chi, guy's doing other things, some of which I don't really think has anything. So out there where that ferry is there's a pontoon, there's a buoy, and once the ships get past the buoy, they can go to warp speed. So this part of the harbor, they actually have to go slow. But once he gets over that, he's going to kick engines. You're going to see this giant rooster tail kick up from the back of that ferry as he gets up to full speed. Yeah, he's on impulse power. But he's almost hit the buoy. So I'll just stop so it doesn't get too jiggly, yeah? So, there's the buoy. Let's watch the wake. Are there any subways? You mean the sandwich shop or subway system, transit? We have the world's best mass transit system in underground subway. But the subway sandwich shops kind of suck. Okay, come on, let's see some waves. Is there traffic in front of them? Maybe there's some traffic. Okay, he's churning up a bit more now. But I think we're too far away. There's a Discovery Bay ferry behind him that's going to give him a run for his money. It's also a catamaran. Huh, the Macau ferry, his turbines are actually down. I think this guy's going to catch him. Wow, the Macau ferry's dead in the water. Don't know what happened. I mean, he's literally dead in the water. Something must have happened when they tried to go to warp speed. Yeah, Hong Kong MTR operates a lot of European MTR systems. They're a very efficient, well, probably one of the most efficient subway transit operations in the world. That's why they're being hired. I think they're actually going to run Crossrail in England. I think they're going to service that. This, I think, is a fuel tanker. Yeah, this is a fuel barge. So we're going to make our way and see what happened to that ferry, which has just been passed. Oh, there he goes. Oh, look at that. Yeah, he got his turbines back on now. There he goes. The fences? Oh, here's a hydrofoil, guys. See? It's coming in on its skids. So this is a hydrofoil. This is a Boeing designed hydrofoil. It is Friday for us. And he's about 2 meters out of the water on the hydrofoil skids. Now when he hits the buoy, he's got to go down. So yeah, there he goes. He's going down off his hydrofoils, and now he becomes just a regular boat. The hydrofoils fly across the water. It's like being on a plane. It is really cool. They're built by Boeing, and they sound like a Boeing jet engine. They have been around for a while. Round trip to Macau is about 40 bucks US. Aren't those cool? I love the hydrofoil. It's a little bit older than the catamarans, but if I had a choice, I would always take the hydrofoil. Smaller ones in the G, and they're probably the same class. I mean, they were built by Boeing probably 20, 30 years ago. I don't think Boeing builds jet foils anymore. They still operate here. They're still very popular, especially with those who get a little seasick. A lot less seasickness on that. It's the same price. Oh, they still build them? Oh, cool. Well, they haven't bought any new ones. I think they went with the catamarans because the catamarans hold more people. Soon they're going to have to start competing with the bridge. People will take the bus to Macau. I think it's going to take a longer time. The catamaran actually holds more passengers than the hydrofoil. I think the hydrofoil looked bigger because it was closer to us where we were here on the harbor. Do they hate black people? No, I wouldn't say hate is the word. But some African Americans or Africans report rather poor behavior. But, you know, that happens in the U.S. too. It's a bit crowded today in traffic. So we're in Sun Yat-sen Park in Shenzhen, Hong Kong. Making our way up. There's some Tai Chi women over here, guys doing Tai Chi. There's usually a bunch of old ladies dancing over here somewhere. Let's go see if we can find the old ladies. Ooh, they got swords. They've got swords. Dude, they've got swords. Cool. Stabby, stabby. Here they are, the dancing aunties. No Coke, Pepsi. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger. I found my cheese. Here they are. These are dancing aunties. And these are old women who dance together. This is how the old Chinese ladies will get together and be social and try to stay healthy. Keep moving, people. That's the key. That's really the key. Keep moving. Hello. Okay, thanks for that. So let's cut over here. So we call those dancing grandmas. Yeah, better than Mahjong. Do you have American friends? Yes, I have American friends and British friends and Australian friends and Chinese friends and Taiwanese friends and Japanese friends. Very international. We already went to McDonald's. My son's international school has 42 different passports in the elementary school. 42 different nationalities, or 46 nationalities represented in the elementary school. I always tell the story of my son's friend. His father is Mexican, the mother is from Brazil, and the child has a New Zealand passport. It's just how things are sometimes. That's a big puppy. That's a riot truck there. Police. Oh, which way to go? Hey, Nathaniel. We're in dried seafood street now. It's going to smell over here. Police brutality an issue? No. I mean, there are examples of it, but violent crime here is much lower than it is in the United States. And to be honest, most cops are not really that physical here. It's a mix. I mean, the cops do carry guns, but there are only, so far this year, 11 murders. We've had 11 murders for 7.3 million people. Last year we had 28. It depends on the roads they're made of. It's a little, driving on the left is not that hard. Where it gets confusing is when you have to start like pre-planning, like, okay, I want to go around the block. And so I naturally start to find myself getting into the right-hand lane, planning to go around the block, 3 right turns. But here, you got to go around the left. So I have to like slide over to the left-hand lane for 3 turns. So it's generally not that hard. You just have to remember the driver is always next to the center line. Always next to the center line. So this is dried seafood street. And over here, they sell dried seafood. In pretty much all these shops. It smells too. Halfway. Fish. Ugh. So it smells like dried fish. No, they're not big on solar energy and renewable because there's no land. There's no land available for renewable power. Hong Kong is powered by gas, coal, and nuclear. Hello Brazil, welcome to Hong Kong to dried seafood market. There's shark fins up there. Those are shark fins for sale. Of $600 US. Ooh. Yeah, there are those new solar powered glass and stuff, but Hong Kong is kind of complicated in the way the buildings are built. And you don't even have sunlight in large canyons of Hong Kong. The sun never hits the ground here, for example. Ooh, it's another seafood market. Scallops. My wife likes these. I should buy her some. It's a trade-off. I get the air conditioning, but I also get the stench of all the dried seafood. So yes, it's cool, but to breathe, it stinks. $600, yeah, shark fin is very expensive, which is why it's so much in demand. Are there apartments in the city? Of course. Fermented food? No. You're just in Hong Kong. In fact, these are apartments right here. I mean, everything up, a lot of these buildings are apartments. This is a grocery store. Yeah, 3 typhoons in 2 weeks, I think. Shark Fin City is the name of the store. Shark fins. Selling shark fins is becoming culturally passé. That's why you study, kids. If you don't study, you're going to carry bricks down a flight of stairs. I actually need to get some money. Oh, it's hot. So we gotta go to the ATM machine, guys. Okay, what's my number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was weird. So we have to get our money. So we have to take the card. It's card first, then cash. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Money. Now I have enough money to pay for a taxi to go home. Resident Evil. Don't see many zombies though. Maybe we are in a giant dome. That would explain why the air is so stale. I can just order a taxi on phone, or I can just put my hand up pretty much anywhere in the city. There are taxi stands where they do line up. But honestly, if I'm going to just go over here and just flag one in a minute. Some places have the yellow lines where taxis cannot stop, double yellow, but you should be able to get one down here. Well, we know where we are. Now, there are street signs on most, this road just kind of keeps going. It hasn't really changed, but there are street signs when you come to junctions. There's one over there, Queens Road Central, Queens Road East, I believe, would become Queens Road East over here. I have to pay my nanny her salary. Taxis don't take plastic. So, it's the first of the month, so the nanny's salary is due today. Other scooter taxis, no. Octopus card pays for everything basically inside the store, but taxis and a few places don't take Octopus. Some minibuses take Octopus, but not all. Some still want coins. There are taco places, but they're not really the best. Mexican food's not really that popular here. This is the street I wanted. Possession Street, where the British took possession. And I can get a taxi here too. You can get in front of that truck. It's a good place selling Monto here too. Hong Kong, it's not really a scooter-friendly city. I mean, the delivery guys use scooters, but people themselves don't really use scooters. People use public transit or walk. Off-track betting. The pizza's actually pretty good. I might get pizza later today. I haven't decided. For now, I'm going to get a taxi when I see one. Go up here, maybe. No, New York style pizza. We have a couple New York style pizza places. There's so many New Yorkers here. In fact, we got a New York bagel shop just around the corner. Oh, I've been to McDonald's. Yeah, all the trains have gates, so you can't get pushed into the thing. I do fold the pizza. If we're in New York, we got a place called Motorino's, which has a couple stores in Brooklyn, and then a branch here in Hong Kong. And then our other place called Paisano's, City Water gives pizza a certain taste that just can't be replicated. In fact, I know some New York pizza places in America actually import New York City water. We've got Haagen-Dazs and Dreyer's ice cream. Yeah, the water in New York, comes from upstate. It's very, very clear. New York City water is actually very highly ranked as far as public water goes. And as such, it's a key ingredient in the dough of the pizza. Bad water, bad pizza. Look, Coca-Cola, there's like no cabs here. I'll have to hike a little bit. Yep. There's like a line here. Means we'll just have to walk a little farther. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. This is a coffin shop selling Chinese coffins. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. No, Kung Fu is a dying art form here. As the city becomes safer and distractions like Xbox become more common, the number of people learning Kung Fu has declined considerably. No, they don't. They're not very overweight here. I'm quite tired. It's like such a deal breaker. You see a pretty girl, then you see her with a cigarette. And you're just like, oh man. Shoot. Blonde girls. Most of our milk is imported from Australia or the United States. It's kind of the reason that I pay $14 a gallon for milk. Milk is about $14 a gallon. If I buy the Australian stuff, it's like $22 a gallon. US. 22 US dollars a gallon for Australian milk. $14 for US milk. A whole bunch of cabs coming now. But the blonde smoking girl is still trying one. New cabs are coming online shortly. They have a new minivan taxi type setup that's coming. I actually don't like it. I bang my head on the freaking thing all the time. Gas is about $8 US a gallon. There's only 550,000 private automobiles in Hong Kong. So most people don't really have a problem with the price of gas. You know what I have to do? Is I have to go down to the city core where everybody's getting dropped off for work and then get a taxi down there. Russian milk, no. It's funny, milk is a loss leader in the US. You know, they sell it at cost basically. But here, oh God. Here it is a big cost. Basically all imported foods are expensive. I paid $5 US. $5 US for some brownie mix, which cost me $1 in the United States. So, I'm not going to get a cab on this section of road. I got to go down to Lyndhurst, where all the central taxis are coming back out. There's some New Zealand milk, there's some French milk. They were importing this, there was this Australian brand they were importing, and then it failed some bacteria tests. So they pulled it for like 2 years, brought it back, And then 3 months later, it failed again, so they pulled it. I don't know if we're ever going to see that milk again. It's pretty good. It's all, there's also UHT milk, but I hate UHT. UHT milks taste like crap. We could walk the rest of the way home. That would be a bit of a hike. And honestly, my phone's going to die before then. We might just do that the way we're going. Oh no, we can't, because the escalator is running down right now. So walking all the way home means I have to walk uphill. I can't take the escalator up. And honestly, that would suck after how much I've walked already. School bus. Yeah, battery is low. We're making our way home, but we're going to take a taxi. But this road, it's very hard to get a taxi on this portion, but once I get to the escalator, I'm going to catch all the taxis coming out of central Hong Kong that have dropped businessmen off at their offices. So there should be quite a few taxis up there. No, it's only 8 in the morning right now. 8:54 in the morning. So I'm heading home after my morning walk. And I'm going to cut some video. I've got a lot of video to edit for my video blog on Ang16 YouTube. And what else we got to do? Take a shower. That's high on the list. Maybe have some breakfast. We'll have to decide what we're going to do for lunch. Have you tried almond milk? Yeah, I don't really like almond milk. I really don't drink that much milk anymore. The kids still drink milk. Saw blonde. Yeah, there's lots of blondes in this area. Alright, so now we're coming up on Lyndhurst Terrace. This is the street where we're going to get a taxi. Yeah, there are a lot of women. There's a lot of tall blonde women here, especially in this neighborhood. This is where there are a lot of fashion models going to their morning shoots. So you'll see a lot of really tall women, usually in like sweatpants with no makeup and their hair in a bun or a ponytail, because when they get to work, they're going to be given like beautiful clothes, makeup, hair, all that. So you'll see a lot of like skinny blonde girls walking around. It's pretty hot today. It's going to be up to about 29 Celsius, which is in the high 80s or 90s today. We're going to have a typhoon this weekend, so the air, oh, there goes the taxi right there, shoot. The air is a bit stuffy. Oh, Redhead took the taxi. Lady in red. Okay, so this is the street where I want to get a cab. What do their jobs do for that? They're fashion models. So the fashion models are doing fashion photo shoots for different fashion designers. So the designers call them and say, we need 3 models today. So they send over 3 blondes or something like that. See, I told you to get a cab on this street. And that's what they do. They go over and do fashion shoots. Morning. Muido, sappiat ho muido. Apa gasandando muido. Yeah, opig, yeah. Dad, I have a startup doing a social media influencing. An Irish German that lives in China. I've lived here 7 years. live here. I met a girl. Story of any guy's life. You met a girl, fell in love, married her, followed her to Hong Kong. I mean, wouldn't your guy be willing to follow you 6,000 miles? If not, gotta wonder if you got the right guy. Story of any guy's life. This is the old police headquarters. Yeah, a little bit, just for taxis. I spoke Chinese, he spoke English. The school bus. Oh boy. So guys, my battery is dying. Sorry. Like almost really dead. I will be back later. We're gonna go get some pizza, I think. Pizza or Korean food today. Unblock box. Yeah, U-Box. U-Box 3, U-Box 4, I think. I have the Unblock Box 3, but I think the 4 just came out. It's a little more expensive. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later today.